it's like a second family being here, and how you cover each other and have each other's backs. We love family. He loved family. He loved his wife. He loved his kids. It's clear, you know, the type of person that he was. I mean, look at the choices, some of the choices that he made, right? He joined, became a firefighter, moved up here because he's a 15-year veteran. He didn't come from here originally. He moved here because after 9/11, who cared about protecting their communities and wanted to be a firefighter, who wouldn't want to be a New York City firefighter, to be part of the greatest fire department in the world? And if you have that in your blood, you are driven. You have a calling. And that calling brought him here, to this firehouse, to protect our community. Yet Chris had another calling. He had a calling, he wanted to protect his country. Who makes people like this? I mean, just think about it. Extraordinary. Unbelievable. The character, the guts of these Americans who are willing to do that. I was speaking to one of the firefighters here a few minutes ago, and forgive me for not remembering your name. He was telling me a story. He goes, Mr. Siller, I guess I'm getting old. He said, I just want to let you know a little bit about Chris. He said, you know, when you did the first climb, now we've been doing the Tunnel to Towers run, right, for 17 years, honoring all 343 firefighters who died on 9/11. And the last 5 years, we're doing a climb up the World Trade Center. And Chris, we were raising money. If you get in, we're raising money. Why do we raise money? To do the good work that we do. We could talk it, and you want to walk it. There's somebody else I heard say that today. You have to do it. You have to do it. You have to have results when you do something. And Chris was the first one that stepped up to donate money to make sure that we're able to do the work that we're doing for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. So, and he would always be the first one there to help a friend. But I know a lot of fires are like that, a lot of firefighters. My brother, you know, just before he died on 9/11, he tore out his kitchen. He bought an old home. And he was in such a race to get it done, you know. And one of the guys that came over and helped him, it was another firefighter, Eddie Diatri, who also died on 9/11. They worked at a frantic pace. But the point is, there were many firefighters there helping out, because that's what you guys do. It is really what you do. He volunteered, he did these things, he became this great firefighter, the love of being a firefighter, love serving our country. And I understand in 2014, once again, speaks volumes of the type of person, a firefighter, and service that he did to his community and as a country, that firefighter Slutman ran into a burning building in the South Bronx and crawled through the flames to rescue an unconscious woman. And he was awarded the Fire Chiefs Association Memorial Medal for his heroism. Now, I'm going to ask you, how many people in the world, how many people in America, how many people in New York could do things that he did? So he was a hero before he went to serve his country. He's a hero now, and I would label him like I did with Ragusa and Briggs in their sacrifice. I would label them a superhero, the real type of a superhero. Not the ones you watch on TV and there's all this fake stuff you see out there and stuff that means nothing in our lives other than to distract us, because we do need distractions from all the terrible things that happen. But let us not be so distracted that we don't do the right thing and help those that need the help. You know, the foundation has been doing many things over the last 17 years. And we're so proud of the fact that to date we've built or under construction 75 smart homes around the country for our country's most catastrophically injured service members. I'd love to tell that story now, but it's not relevant. But know this, there are so many more. There's nearly 200 of these guys that we need to build these houses. But in 2014, and how we got on the road and making sure that we take care of first responders and paying off the mortgages, in 2014, here in New York, in Brooklyn, when detectives Lou and Ramos were just sitting in their car and were assassinated because they were just cops wearing the uniform, the blue uniform, and we heard that they were worried about their mortgage, that those families were worried about their mortgage. And when the foundation heard that, and we did a first fundraiser for any mortgage payoff, and it was December 20th, 2014, so a few days after we started it, by New Year's Day, we were able to raise enough money to pay off both those mortgages. And that set us on a new path, because we saw the difference that it made in their lives, in the lives of those two great families that sacrificed so much. And now we've done over 40 mortgages for first responders around the country, just not here in New York, but all over the country, but we have a lot more that we have to do. So this is what we're here today, an announcement that we are making. I'm making an announcement because I have the confidence in the greatness of America and the greatness of the New Yorkers that we are in a short period of time, like we did for the great families of Agusso and Briggs, like we did for Lou and Ramos, like we did for Davison, like we did for many others who give us their lives in the line of duty to protect us, that we are going to raise the money to pay off their mortgage of Christopher Slutman for his family, so they never have to worry about that again. So this is the promise I want everybody here. And you know what? It's pretty timely, because in the fact that there's nothing timely about death, that's for sure. But we were going to be talking about how every American, we have a gala tomorrow night in New York City. We're honoring General Motors. The CEO of General Motors is coming in because they do a lot for our foundation. And they're coming in tomorrow. And one of the things that we were talking about at this gala is a campaign that we are doing, and we're asking all Americans, and now New Yorkers, to donate $11 a month. Because if you donate $11 a month, you know, what's the saying in the fire department? Many hands makes light work, right? That's the only way you get the kitchen cleaned up, I know that. That if we have many hands donating as little as $11 a month, most people could do $11 a month. Anybody here can't do $11 a month? Okay, I don't see one hand raised that you can't donate. Because let's make a promise to all these guys and women that you see standing here, that when you go and you give your wife or your husband a kiss goodbye, and you give your kids a kiss goodbye, and you go serve your community, or you're serving your country and you don't come home, that we are going to take care of your family, and we are going to deliver you a mortgage-free home. So I'm asking everybody, and we're going to start here. $11 a month. You go to tunneltotowers.org. My brother ran through the Tunnel to Towers on 9/11 with the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation. And I say that many hands will pay off this mortgage in a short period of time and send a message to everybody here, all those who are serving, police, fire, first responders, that we are going to have your back and that we are going to protect you. So thank you, God bless you, and thank you for having me here today. It is my distinct honor to ask the First Deputy Commissioner, Laura Canavan, to come up and say a few words. And I want to say that I talked about the stair climb that we have every year. It's June 2nd this year. Commissioner is actually doing it and raising money, you know, as she said before, and I used her words, if you say it, you got to do it. You got to walk the talk. Come on up, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Staff Sergeant and firefighter Chris Slutman made the supreme sacrifice for his country. And when he was here in the Bronx, he left this firehouse on countless calls and risked his life day after day to protect life and property for all of us. That is an extraordinary life of service, courage, and bravery, one that should be celebrated and remembered always. The entire department mourns his loss, and now we gather to support his fellow firefighters and most of all, to support his family, his wife Shannon, and his 3 beautiful daughters. In just the last year alone, as Frank mentioned, the FDNY has suffered 4 painful losses, with Lieutenant Chris Raguso and Fire Marshal Drip Zanitas killed in Iraq 1 year ago, and Lieutenant Mike Davidson, who lost his life in a fire in Harlem, and now firefighter Slutman this week. Each time, the Stephen Siller Tunnel to Towers Foundation comes forward and asks us, what can we do? Siller family has always stepped up for our FDNY family, and we thank you. And once again, they are here with us to support the family of a true hero, not just to our city, but also to our country. They do this in Stephen's name, and they do it because, quite simply, it's the right thing to do. On behalf of the Fire Commissioner and the entire department, I want to thank the Siller family for your friendship, your unwavering support, and for all you will do for the Slutman family. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. So, listen, not every day you get to listen to somebody that's lived the life of what is going to happen now to Shannon Slutman, who is left with her 3 children. And, you know, I would say that over the last year, I feel like I have a couple more daughters. And that's how I feel about both of you. You know how much I love you both. I talk to them all the time because the foundation just doesn't want to pay off the mortgage. We want them to bring in part of our family, and we need them part of our mission because it's important that they help the next person because they see how it has helped them. So I would ask the widow of Christopher Raguso, Carmela, to come up and just say a few words and talk about how it made a difference in her life. So let's welcome Carmela.
Shannon, I can personally tell you, I know exactly what you're feeling today, and for the next few days, weeks, months, and a year later. It doesn't get easier. I wouldn't say easier is the right word. It just gets a little more familiar. So my thoughts and prayers are with you and your daughters. About a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, Frank Siller sat at my kitchen table, held my hand, had coffee out of a, I don't know, I think it was a #1 dad mug, and told me that he had my back and that I wouldn't have to worry about my mortgage. In those few days after finding out that my husband wasn't coming home, my children's father wasn't coming home, it was a blur. Frank, I'm sorry, but all those words that you said to me at my kitchen table went in one ear and out the other. It didn't process. And it didn't process until a few months later, after the wakes, after Chris's funeral, when the nice weather came and the girls were playing out in the front yard, and we're blowing bubbles and riding our bikes and smiling. And one of my elderly neighbors came up to me and said, "Carmela, I'm so glad you're here. Are you going to stay? Can you stay?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean, can I stay? Are you able to stay in the neighborhood? Can you stay with us? Can you stay in your home?" And in that moment, everything that Frank, it was just Frank's face popped into my head. And I looked at my girls playing, and I looked at her, and I said, "Yeah, we can stay. We're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. My husband and I built this house. My husband and I raised our family in this house. We're not going anywhere. And it's because of Frank and this foundation." So I can stand up here personally today and tell you, Shannon, you and your beautiful little girls will be okay because of Frank and the foundation. And when he sat there and told me he had my back, he really does. And he has your back too, Shannon. So just know that we're here. We're here for you, and so is Frank. Thank you, Frank. Thank you.
Thank you, Carmela. So Deshaun, who died along with Chris Raguso last year, how many here know that he actually had taken the firefighter test and gotten a letter to become a FDNY firefighter? Not a lot. He would have been one of your brothers here in arms, fighting in blazes all over New York City. And once again, the type of person that's in your blood, that's who you are. That's how you were born. You were born with this service in you, that you wanted to serve. And, you know, while Deshaun was serving, he gave up his life. And, you know, because of it, you know, there's a lot of pain that's left afterwards. But taking the mortgage off does make a difference. I would like to ask Rebecca Briggs to come up and say a few words. Rebecca.
Hello. I just wanted to start off by saying that to the whole Slutman family that I'm so sorry for your loss, and thank you for your sacrifice, not only Chris's, but the whole entire family's, because as you know, in this line of work, the whole family sacrifices a lot. And Tunnel to Towers really has stepped up and taken care of my family, and they let us stay in our home. I can be there to raise our kids and not have to work multiple jobs and just be there. And I really hope that America and, you know, the state of New York can step up and help Shannon and her beautiful girls stay in their family home where they made memories and just keep living. So thank you, everyone.
So, once again, you see the sacrifice that's made. You heard others that have passed, have given their life in the line of duty today for this great city. You know how many that have died for protecting our country, nearly 7,000 since 2001. There's a great sacrifice going on, and we owe it to these families that are left behind. We owe it to these families that are left behind that we are going to make a promise that we are going to take care of them. I know that this will be taken care of in a short period of time. I know the media out there are going to get the word out, because without you, we cannot get it done. Without you sending them to tunneltotowers.org, if you tell the message of the great sacrifice, but you don't tell a message of how you can help, that's a big mistake. You have to do both. And you've been part of us for the last 17 years. The media has been part of us for the last 17 years. And I can't thank you enough, but we need you again here today to make sure that you send the right message out there. That's just not mourn it. Let's not feel bad for them. Let's take care of them. It's our duty and our obligation. So go to tunneltotowers.org. You'll see Chris's face right up there, an opportunity to do the right thing. Is there any questions? If there isn't any questions, we're going to, yes.
Do you have a monetary goal that you're hoping to achieve?
Yes, to pay off the mortgage. We don't give exact amounts on the mortgages, but most mortgages are between around $250,000 and $300,000. So that's the goal, to be in around $300,000. Okay. Thank you for asking. Okay, that will conclude the press conference. Any other questions you might have, you have to go through Jimmy Long right over here, and Larry Olson, who is standing over there, and they'll set up any private interviews you might want. Thank you, and God bless you, and God bless America.